The countdown has ended and the conclave is upon us. Here is a breakdown of the latest reports coming out of Rome and what we should reasonably be expecting out of this conclave. While there have been some cardinals who have said that this will be a short conclave, Cardinal Kasper and Chaldean Patriarch Cardinal Sacco both have insisted that this will be a longer conclave because the cardinals simply do not know each other very well. This is true particularly of this conclave, as many of the cardinals are new. A whopping 20 got their red hats only last December. Cardinal Kasper, who is 92 and not able to vote in this conclave, is quoted in this LifeSite article as saying, quote, "The last conclaves have all gone relatively quickly. This time, many of the cardinals don't know each other, which could cause a delay. Or if a conspiratorial group with a 1/3 majority wants to elect someone most people don't want but still has this 1/3 majority, then you have to start all over again. That can delay things a lot," unquote. This last part is an oblique reference to the sort of quote-unquote conservative or more orthodox cardinals led by Cardinal Burke. Now remember, of the 133 cardinals who will be voting in this conclave, Francis has appointed 108 of them, and you only need 89 votes to reach the 2/3 majority needed to elect a successor of Peter. So the more orthodox wing of the Sistine Chapel has an uphill battle to fight because of this. And again, I want to stress that he who goes into the conclave as Pope comes out a cardinal, but it is interesting how the chances of both Cardinal Pizzaballa and Cardinal Sarah seem to have risen over the past week or so. Pizzaballa is now third on the Calci betting market with a 10% chance of becoming Pope. Now, I have been sharing information from Calci, but I did want to stress that it is only for informational purposes, and I don't mean to encourage placing bets on the conclave, which is frowned upon for Catholics. Now, what is interesting is that it is reported that Pizzaballa is kind of being kind of a Sigma lone wolf persona during the pre-conclave meetings. He's not really saying a whole lot during the meetings. He's not really meeting with a lot of the other cardinals. He's kind of keeping to himself. Just to kind of recap on Pizzaballa, he doesn't have a lot of literary or verbal output so that we can judge where he stands on different doctrinal issues. So we don't know what he thinks, about the blessing of same-sex couples. However, he does pass a lot of these sort of little litmus tests, like he's known to wear some serious trad liturgical drip. He's made sure that the Latin Mass is offered in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. He's the Patriarch of Jerusalem. And he wants communion on the tongue to be standard in his diocese. Also of note, Pizzaballa and Sarah have the same motto, which is, "My grace is sufficient for thee." That's really interesting. Maybe Pizzaballa looks up to Sarah. Who knows? Speaking of Sarah, he is trending yet again right before the conclave, and LifeSite News declares in this headline, quote, "Cardinal Sarah has more of a chance of becoming Pope than you might think," unquote. The article reads in part, quote, "Sarah's chances of becoming Pope are certainly not unrealistic. Far from it. Though almost nobody considers him a front-runner at the present time, Vaticanologists and bookies frequently place his chances among the top 10 candidates. It is known Cardinal Sarah enjoys support from Cardinal Raymond Leo Burke, who, operating from his apartment in Rome, holds sway among conservative factions within the church. On April 22nd, Sarah was filmed accompanying Burke as both men walked to the congregation of cardinals together, almost alone. Later on May 4th, several cardinals were spotted entering Burke's apartment. Burke's position as a kingmaker among the traditionalist groups is generally not disputed. However, given the two cardinals' long-standing collaborative friendship, this does not necessarily mean he is maneuvering for a Sarah papacy. Cardinal Peter Erdo is believed to be the conservatives' primary candidate. Nevertheless, in the scenario that he does not secure the necessary 2/3 majority to win in the first few rounds of voting, speculation has considered it possible the faction may switch to Sarah and advocate him as a secondary candidate. Sarah is known as a serious administrator and respected as a man of profound faith," unquote. So you can see that the article does mention as well Cardinal Peter Erdo from Hungary, who is considered kind of one of the front conservative runners. but even though there's not a lot of like excitement around him as there is around Sarah and Pizza Ball among the grassroots. As you can see, the cards do seem to be stacked against a return to orthodoxy in the Vatican, just because so many of the cardinals have been selected by Francis. But I believe that where there is faith and prayer, there is hope. We only have to consult the history books to realize that there have been numerous times in which God has stretched forth his hand to turn the course of human events in favor of those who trust in him. And regardless of what happens, as Pope Benedict XVI reminds us, quote, I would not say that the Holy Spirit picks out the Pope because there are too many contrary instances of popes the Holy Spirit would obviously not have picked. I would say that the Spirit does not exactly take control of the affair, but rather, like a good educator, as it were, leaves us much space, much freedom, without entirely abandoning us. The only assurance he offers is that the thing cannot be totally ruined, unquote. So also remember Jesus' words in Matthew, the gates of hell will not prevail against his church. And to kind of close, I don't know if you remember that fantastic bolt of lightning that struck St. Peter's the night of Benedict's resignation, but apparently a lightning storm shook up the Vatican just as the official mourning period for Pope Francis ended. Could it be that this signifies an end to an era? If you got value out of this video, please smash the like button and share.